Okay, recording this video. It's actually Sunday, the 18th of September 2011. I've not put a video up on the site since Tuesday. A couple of reasons. First of all, trading wasn't particularly good Wednesday, Thursday. Friday was okay. But I was kind of caught a little bit by this uptrend that we've had over the last few days. Shouldn't have been. I'll show you the charts. They'll show why. It was pretty obvious we were going to get that, but I was expecting this downtrend to kind of continue. So mentally, runaway kind of trend up days like we had on Wednesday and Thursday are my bête noire. They always kind of cause me problems, and they did this week like clockwork. Anyway, let me just run through some charts, see what I'm looking at. Fundamentally, I still think we've got huge, massive problems with what's going on kind of in the market, and we've had this massive sell-off and this kind of retracement that we're in at the moment. It's almost like a complex correction on the way back up. For me, it's just a question of where it's going to end and when the downtrend's going to resume. And sitting here in France, in Europe, you get to see the kind of European news, and you kind of realize there are some serious structural issues here, and almost the discussion has turned to a question of not if but when in terms of Greece defaulting, and the implications for that are just going to be horrendous and horrific. But anyway, let me get to a few charts. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's activity, we the whole week we had kind of decent volume on the Emini, over 2 million or so every single day. Here you can see it was kind of pretty perfect in terms of volume, taking this market up. We had this cyclical support area kind of hold at the beginning of the week. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. From Monday's activity, we just had a straight line up all week, and should have been no surprise to me. This cyclical turn was well kind of forewarned, if you like, on better sine wave, that it was kind of coming up, that we're going to get some kind of sticking point in terms of resistance here. I just chose to ignore that fact. And in terms of where we're going, cyclical turns, we're a few days away from making something in terms of a cyclical turn here on better sine wave. So I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of punched up through this kind of previous resistance level up kind of 12.24. I think it's this kind of high, and kind of push on a little bit further until we get some kind of exhaustion buying at the tops, and kind of go into a cyclical kind of reversal on the way down. Just to look at this in terms of better momentum. And I think in some ways this is where I kind of got myself a little bit stuck. Better momentum, we obviously had this kind of huge sell-off here, which ended up with exhaustion selling. You can see all the blue fractional down bars coming into these lows. We tested back down with blue fractional bars that held at this cyclical turn, which is a fairly good signal. I was hoping for either a flush signal here or a bit more of a sell-off than we got in terms of better momentum here on this daily chart. But this is kind of one of the kind of nuances, complexities, kind of reasons why trading is difficult. It's like if you can look at data in a couple of different ways. So let me just show you. So this chart is using at es.d. So this is continuous contract, the E-mini, using day session data only. If I flip this to the at es contract, which is day and night session plus showing holidays. So we've got on this chart, we've also got Monday a couple of weeks ago where we had Labor Day on here, and this is a more classic kind of bottoming pattern, exhaustion selling, bit of bullish divergence followed by a flush signal. I mean, that's really classic. And if you like here, this is on the flush signal kind of leading up to this. This was including that Labor Day data, which was an amateur down bar into those lows, just testing the lows. We come back into exactly the same level, and blue professional bars kind of step in at cyclical turn, kind of hold it going down, and then kind of get the move going on the way up. So when you look at this in terms of an ES continuous chart, the thing looks picture perfect, but when I'm looking at on the at es.d, just didn't look like that move was over. So anyway, one of the kind of tricks of trading, I mean, it's all about kind of interpretation. Certainly with my trading, it's not kind of systematic, so I suppose I should have been paying more attention to this version of the momentum chart. Better trend was on the money though. Better trend reversed coming into the end of last week and Monday, and we had all this kind of cluster of buying signals starting on Thursday, Friday, Monday, bang, market's kind of headed this way. We're up at plus 92 on the better trend oscillator, so we're kind of a little bit overboard at this stage. So looking for some kind of topping out activity over the next 2 or 3 days. And then better trend line, we punched up through this trend line here after we had this kind of consolidation pattern. I suppose what the question is out of this is this move going to be stronger than we think, and kind of heading back into this kind of 1200, 1300 type region, and we actually get a little bit of support surprised. I think I'm probably representative of the markets that can't see any kind of good news around and expecting the market to kind of continue down. So if I'm kind of near enough the majority, then the market will go the other way. So this uptrend could be, one of the surprises could be it's a lot stronger than I might be anticipating. Then lastly, on the trailing stop, volume-based trailing stop, better X trend on a couple of different charts, so using at es.d and at es. Again, my confusion kind of a little bit to do with these have both kind of turned around now into showing kind of a positive bias, but this one took a little bit longer to turn over the last couple of days. So we've been in this consolidation zone now. We're probably going to punch through it and just see how far this move kind of takes us. Then lastly, just on the 40,500 tip bar chart, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday's activity here, and I was expecting more of a sell-off after we got this kind of exhaustion buying signal here. We'd had this beautiful end of trend after exhaustion buying, bearish divergence. We just rolled over. For me, this kind of peak of exhaustion buying activity here ran out of steam really quickly, and so we kind of cracked on down. I thought we'd get some kind of symmetry in terms of the sell-off and volume that we would get kind of down here. Much lower in order to signal the end of this downtrend. We didn't. We got extremely light selling at this point here. The market kind of turned around. So on the 40,500 tip bar chart, we're still on an uptrend here. We've had this burst of buying activity that got this move going. We had a flush signal kind of on the way up, but that's not flushing out the buyers. We've got to see something like this at the top end. And what's interesting on Friday's activity, we got kind of a reverse signal, a exhaustion selling signal on the way down that hardly kind of crunched the market at all into 1200, and then so presumably quite a lot of the sellers have sold into Friday, and we could power on through a little bit more for this uptrend. So I'll be looking for pullback to end of trend and some kind of exhaustion buying signal on the upside before this is over, I suppose. In terms of trading on Friday, I came out ahead on Friday, but a little bit tricky. The consumer sentiment numbers kind of came out, and we had on the lower time frame, the 1500 tip bar chart, we had this beautiful kind of end of trend signal that was kind of lining up. We'd had exhaustion buying kind of pre the open. We kind of started to really exhaust ourselves in terms of bearish divergence patterns here, and I started to kind of get short prior to that consumer sentiment number comes out. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. They didn't in this case. I got taken out on my stop. Almost at the high, a point away or something from the high. You can see these Rambo patterns here, and then we tested back in, and I was so kind of gun shy after that I couldn't get short into this move, which is a second cyclical turn after end of trend. You can see it's been an area of resistance kind of previously, and where the amateurs were getting wrong-footed in a supposedly bullish consumer sentiment number. Professionals kind of step in the cyclical turning point, bearish divergence, and the market kind of rolls over. We had a incredibly strong kind of downtrend move. Didn't get into this. Got into this on the reversal though. Gone in at 1200 and a half down here. Just after this kind of dirty end of trend, we'd had exhaustion selling. You can see here we'd come into a flush pattern, flushing out the sellers at this point at a dirty end of trend. Didn't print an end of trend because that pullback level was violated, but that's effectively what it is down here. And then we got this kind of violent spike down with the professionals stepping in right at the lows there. That's just to freak you out, just to think you got the move wrong, and held on to my long position. Kind of worked out nicely on the upside, so that was kind of good. Not really sure what the market holds next week. I'm going to keep my ideas kind of fluid because it got me in trouble this last week, whereas I was kind of anticipating a continuation of the downtrend, and we got exactly the reverse. So just going to try and be more systematic about taking my signals trading during this next week. I hope you had a good week's trading last week. Just on a personal note, although my trading was pretty lousy Wednesday, Thursday, just had two of the best kind of surf sessions I've had in my life. The surf's been kind of, I wouldn't say going off here in southwest France in Biarritz, but it's been nice offshore breezes or no wind at all, and the remnants of a fairly big swell. And surfed up in Hossegor on Saturday, and it was just epic morning, and then a good day on Thursday in Biarritz town. So there's always good and there's always bad in the market. So I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I'm looking forward to next week's trading.